What does the release of 2 American women from prison in North Korea say about formal and informal diplomacy with a rogue state today and in the future?
Well, first, I think the fact that they were captured at all says a lot about North Korea. And we should remember that as a beginning point. The fact that they were taken and held, I think, is very reflective of that regime. But I will say that from my perspective, always through my career, I thought that the addition of informal diplomacy, of track 2 diplomacy, of citizen diplomacy, was a very powerful additional tool to the diplomatic capacity of the United States. And one of the things that's most interesting, I think, about the last 10 or 15 years is how much more track 2 diplomacy is done, how much more it is valued by professional diplomats, and people recognize the great advantages of it. And it doesn't always have to be private diplomacy of a former president flying into North Korea. I mean, there are many, many, many opportunities and occasions over the past 10 or 15 years where citizens have come and said, let's get some people together and start talking about these issues. And little by little by little, these things get to be more successful. And so I support them, I'm for them. I think they have a very important role to play in the larger diplomatic question.
This is an easy question from Norm Tamber. What are the chances of State Department repossessing turf loss to the Department of Defense in recent years?
Well, first, who asked that question? Where am I looking? Where am I looking? Great. I think the first thing is one of the arguments that I would make to people who are serving the government today, and one of the things I hope would come through from this presentation, is that fighting about turf is an utter, total, and complete waste of time. Total waste of time. And so the object here is not to decide what can get back to the State Department, what belongs to the Defense Department, but going into what is called a whole-of-government approach, and to say who in government can solve this problem. So if you're going to now go to Afghanistan and try to deal with the challenges that we have in Afghanistan, and you spend your time fighting about the State Department gets this, the Defense Department gets this, you never solve the problem. Because this is a problem in which the Agriculture Department better be involved, and the Commerce Department needs to be involved, and the Agency for International Development needs to be involved, and there needs to be, as I say, this whole-of-government approach. And I don't see, sir, how we can continue the structure of defining success by I have more stuff than you do, I have more turf than you do, and deal with these questions which are fundamentally simultaneous. And I go back to my example, if you'd allow me, of Colombia. I think in Colombia, we were able to get over all of this kind of turf fighting because President Clinton and President Bush and President Obama said, there's a policy here, it's called Plan Colombia, and you all have a piece of it, and so carry it out. And that seems to me a very important model for the future. So, would I like more resources to come to the State Department? Yes. Would I like them to come at the expense of the Defense Department? No, because I happen to believe that we ought to have the strongest possible defense. So we ought to look at the requirements of the United States of America, fund them, and then tell people what to do, and expect the citizens that it'll get done.